How do? Just come out at gym, guys. So somebody asked me about prison gangs in one of the question. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about prison gangs, as it were, and not the same as in America, and also a little bit about gang members in prison, which is a different thing altogether. So when I worked at Forest Bank, you had a different clientele to Strangeways. You go to prison depending on where you committed your crime. So a lot of lads at Forest Bank were from Oldham, Wigan, Bolton, or Bolton, as it were, and the such. So, you know, if you had a lot of lads from Bolton on a wing in Forest Bank, all knew each other, then, you know, they'd sort of operate together. That's how it were. It was quite clear at Forest Bank, actually, with not being a lot of people on wings, staff that is, you know, sort of rang things. Each wing was run by different people, different groups, and that's how it is. But, you know, in America, obviously, you have these gangs from different races and different cultures, and you're either in a gang or you're on your own, as it were. So, gang members in prison. So leader Bent Screw said when he was at Lancaster Farms, they had a lot of gangs from Liverpool, gang members. They're people who associate together on the out, and also Manchester. The thing is about Lancaster Farms, then it was a young offenders institute, so they were 18 to 21 year olds. So there weren't many spaces for 18 to 21 year olds in prisons. So, you know, if you look at Greater Manchester and Liverpool, all the young lads would get sent to Lancaster Farms, so you would end up with a lot of gang members inside, which can be problematic. At Strangeways, when I were there, on K-Wing, probably round about, I don't know, maybe 2-6, something like that. We were told by security we had 36 gang members on there. They were predominantly from two gangs, Gooch and Dorrington, two gangs from Moss Side, and to say it was interesting would be another word. To be honest, I don't think either side wanted to particularly cause any trouble. You know, 36 lads on one wing that holds 200 prisoners could have been a bloodbath. So there was sort of a, I don't know whether you call it a truce or not. These lads were spread over 3 landings. I used to work predominantly on the 2's landing. You had approximately 70 prisoners on each landing, 2 staff on each landing. Some of these lads were podded up next door to each other from different gangs and opposite each other. And they would be civil to us and civil to each other. Yeah, it was interesting. It's also interesting, the old dynamic security, you know, staff-prisoner relations. Some of them lads from both sides have got on really well, knew them quite well from coming in and out of prison. Usually, the higher ranking lads, as it were, will be the ones that had talked to staff. Some of the foot soldiers, shall we say, for want of a better word, not so much. Maybe looked at us like the enemy. And there was some interaction with the people who'd got some pull. You know, some of them were older lads and some had obviously well-established gang members. But, you know, good old Mr. Bertie Bassett, I'd have them in, the odd one, especially if some of the young ones were misbehaving, and tell them to get them in order. Like, it worked really well actually. Anyway, security, when they informed us they got all these, they told us we had to disperse these lads throughout the jail. So top jail at Strangeways, for those that you might not know, because I talk about top jail and bottom jail, the top jail was G wing, the induction wing, H and I wing. I wing was the detox wing. H wing was where they'd go from I wing, move on to there. A lot of them lads on methadone. And K wing was the remand wing. Allegedly, they had everything on K wing. We had lifers, long termers, you name it. Any troublemakers in the jail at that time had find themselves back on K wing. It's just how it was. So out of those three, G wing, induction wing, you're not putting anyone back on the induction wing. The induction wing staff won't have that, and there's no need anyway. So that just leaves two wings, K wing and H wing, because you won't put them on I wing either, the detox wing. Now the bottom jail had A wing, B wing, C wing, D wing and E wing. E wing was Cat A's, VPs, they're vulnerable prisoners, sex offenders. Cat A's kept in the most secure conditions, and you would have the segregation. So the Cat A's, we have had people put on the Cat A's, you know, some, shall we say, more lively prisoners, but normally you won't put anyone on there. So that just leaves A, B, C and D. So there's 6 wings, K wing, H wing, A, B, C and D. So bit of simple maths, guys. If we had 36, 6 on each wing, something like that. Anyway, we started moving these lads off. It was a very difficult process. K wing at that time used to have a moves office, so all the moves in the prison, if you were moving anyone from one wing to another, which sometimes would require a swap, would be done from K wing. So we got rid of some of these lads over 2 weeks, you know, couple to D wing, couple here, couple there, or whatever. Might have been a month, might have been 2 weeks. Surprise, surprise. 30 odd gang members back on K wing. Yeah, that didn't work very well. So we managed it. That's how it is, guys. Like I said, it weren't much trouble. One of the lads who was on there was in for a serious offence. He was in for rape. He ended up smashing his cell and going to the segregation. Pretty much everyone knew what he was in for, and I think the pressure got to him. He was a tough lad, him as well, a strange lad, not one you'd like to cross. He eventually would go, I didn't know whether he went to a psychiatric hospital or a special unit, but I do remember, anyone who's medically inclined or, you know, maybe can tell us in the comments, but there is a score. For me, I'm just going to make this up, right? Let's say a score of 1 to 50 is from somebody who is normal, 50 being the most dangerous person you've ever come across. This lad scored as one of the most dangerous people ever in prison. I know that for a fact. And most of his time he'd spent on normal location. He was at Forest Bank on the young offenders when I was there, and half the wing had black eyes, courtesy of this lad. Anyway, prison gangs don't really apply in this country. You do get groups of lads from areas sticking together, and actual gang members, yeah, they're not segregated or kept apart at all. And like I say, if you get a lot together like we had on K wing, it made it interesting, to say the least. A little bit tense, but fair dues to everybody. They kept their heads down, and for the most part it was civil. So there you go. Hopefully tomorrow, guys, we'll have an interview up. Again, apologies. I am learning now how to edit videos and sort them out myself. So it'll be Sam the tech guy. Okay, hope you're having the best day possible. Hope you've been able to grab some rays. Take care of each other. Thanks for coming. I'll see you.